Right, so this is episode 4 of the YouTube series, Complete Lack of Technique. This week I'm going to be looking at choke theory. So choke theory is something I've been teaching to my beginners. I think it's a critical piece of information. This is based on training with Preet Mickelson and Charles Harriott. Both of them kind of influenced how I now look at chokes, to the point where I've pretty much taken most of the traditional way of teaching chokes completely out of the way I teach Jiu-Jitsu. So when it comes to choke theory, I don't see much of a difference between gi and no gi. I think calling gi chokes, a lot of gi chokes, collar chokes, causes a problem in that, especially beginners will think you have to wrap the collar around the neck, and they pull the collar and try and like cheese slice someone's head. There's very few chokes that actually require the gi, and it's usually the lapel. So when you start to look at actual choke theory, everything makes a lot more sense. It wasn't until Preet taught me very basic choke defense, about where to move your head, that it just all started to click. So when you attack the neck, the gap you actually want to attack is very, very small. It's just here beside the windpipe. So pretty much where you'd feel your pulse. As it starts to go around the side and around to the back, you can really squeeze quite a lot, and it's just going to be mostly pain and biting into the muscles, and that requires a lot more energy. And this, right now we're just talking about neck only chokes, not talking about head and arm chokes. That's something completely different. So I'm going to be looking at, for this first part, just attacking the front here. So as a basic test, and this is courtesy of Charles, is body naki. Go for a rear naked choke. Try and find the point where you're just on the front by where you feel the pulse. So the V of my elbows is just touching there. I'm just going to put on enough pressure that I'm not squeezing, but I've taken the slack out of it. All I'm going to do is try and hold it, possibly 15-30 seconds. And eventually, if I've got it right, he'll tap. And that wasn't planned. That was actually really good timing. That was no pressure whatsoever. But we have a real issue in Jiu-Jitsu where we want instant gratification. We want to put on the choke and want someone to instantly tap because we want to cause them enough pain. But if you do it that way and you just look at techniques for what they are, you will, when you get chokes wrong, you won't understand why. You'll just be squeezing and squeezing and you'll be burning your arms out. Yet here, if you can put on the choke that lightly and hold it, eventually you'll feel where the arteries are and they will go. And as soon as you've got that accuracy, you find your chokes get a lot easier. So when I go for a rear naked in the gi, so a collar choke, if I take Naki's neck, this would be my grip for a collar choke, this would be my grip for one-handed rear naked, and this would be my grip for a rear naked. This hand actually didn't move. So I'm always going to be biting into his neck with my wrist and not pulling his collar. It's always an anchor that I'm holding on to, be it collar, shoulder, wrist, head, hand, don't really care. I get here and then I create a bite into his neck. Okay? Now I have to have something that will stop him from turning. Which is usually my shoulder, or it can be my hooks when we take it back. And then I put pressure into the front part of the neck, and that's where we get our choke. Or I hold onto his collar here, and I put the pressure in again. Which means that if he can destroy my accuracy, he takes away the choke. So right now, my wrist is perfectly positioned into his carotid artery. But if he just moves 45 degrees this way, there's no choke anymore. All the pressure I'm putting on, be it gi, no gi, whatever, is now going onto the side of his neck. If I just hold on to this, nothing's going to happen. So just by slightly moving, the second he feels me go around his neck, if he just follows the arm, it's going to cause the damage. There's no choke. So I actually have to find now a better way of hunting into this space and stopping him from moving. So I've said before, I think on previous videos, human beings rely on instinct, Jiu-Jitsu people rely on skill. Instinct would say, grab hold of the hand and stop. Except that would then allow me into this space, same with hooks. That's now going to stop him from turning. So if he tries to move this way now, I'm using this hook to stop him from turning. Turn now. He can't move. Okay? So if he goes to my hands and lets me in, that actually locks him into the position. Yet, if he ignored that and kept these down, and I'm not going to get a choke anymore. he just turns towards wherever I'm facing. So say then I want to go for a bow and arrow, okay? I'm going to have to control between his knee and his armpit to stop him from rolling. Because if he can turn towards where my arm is facing, he's just going to get out. He's going to destroy that angle and just be straight out of the choke. Here. So if I just grab over his pants, for example, that isn't going to stop him from turning as much. He can actually roll inside his pants. It's very hard to keep him in that position. So it's actually better for me to use this hook here against his hip and use this hand to stop him from rolling. Now, I place my choke. If we do not explain this though to beginners, or even more advanced students, they don't get then why some chokes don't work. Is they'll go and squeeze and squeeze and squeeze, and it might be a complete fluke that the other person just shifted ever so slightly. But if the accuracy is off, you'll burn your arms, you'll lose. So where does this fit in then with arm triangles? So triangles, arm triangles, darces, anacondas, all those kind of chokes. Is that before I was using two parts of my body, so my arm for example, or the same arm, to create pressure onto that part of his neck. With the head and arm, I'm using my arm to create pressure onto that part of his neck, or my leg for example. On the other side, I'm trying to use his shoulder structure. So if I do this, I can't really feel a lot of pressure biting into my artery here. If I do this and take my arm directly to my ear, again I can't feel a lot of pressure here, if anything. But if I take my entire shoulder structure and just lift it diagonally to here, I can feel some pressure into my carotid artery. So I'm actually using their shoulder structure and push it up into that diagonal space here to put pressure into their artery. Again, if your accuracy is off, you try and pull the head down and just squeeze, you won't realise why the choke isn't working. So say if I was to do a arm triangle, so basic arm triangle. So web it. I'm going to have my bicep on the floor. It's going to be the top part of my arm delivering into that part of his neck here. From there, all I want to do is make sure I can just feel, I want to try and feel his pulse at the top of my bicep. I'm just trying to lift his entire shoulder structure up into his neck. Okay? Also, I wouldn't do that in sparring, I wouldn't use my hands that way, it's just for a demonstration now. It's the same if I was doing a triangle. So, instead of my biceps down my hamstring, I'm going to be looking for that part of his neck again. Here. I close it down and pull, so my hamstring is now connected to his artery, so I can try to feel his pulse. Now when I go for his arm here, I'm not just trying to pull it across. It actually works better if his arm's out. Because now I'm just going to pull his shoulder structure up into his neck. Here. So actually I find that it works even easier. Because now I know when the choke isn't working, I can actually adapt mid-technique in a spar. I think, right, where's my aim? Is it going against what I want? Where is their arm? If it's just across it, it's going to take a lot more pressure to do it. But I can take the shoulder structure up, it works better. So what I do to actually mess with people in sparring is when I see the choke coming, I'll actually do this instead and move my neck into that space. So now the pressure is actually going to here. It's going to hurt. I don't know. Deal with it. But I'm not going to get choked. That gives me longer to then try and find an escape. So say then if Naki goes for that exact same arm triangle on me. Here. So I'm going to put my arm, the second I see it coming, to my ear. I'm now going to turn to look at him. So now the pressure is mostly going to be being delivered into the side of my neck, and no matter what he tries to lift, so we're going to go for it. There's no pressure on my arm going up into my neck. It's the exact same if you just go a triangle me. The second I see that triangle coming, here, I put my arm above my head. And change the angle. True, it might leave me open for arm bars. You have to find a different way of dealing with that. But it's taking the pressure off my neck entirely. So the second I see the choke coming, I actually mess with that accuracy. Make sure my arm can't be used against me by taking it out of the way. Here, there's a chance. Here, there's definitely a chance. But here, there's no chance. I'm going to have to get my arm back again. So I don't think we should actually be teaching beginners just rote technique of when it comes to do chokes. So arm triangles, rear naked chokes. I think the first thing we need to talk about with them is accuracy. What they're actually trying to accomplish and what they're going to be using to accomplish this goal. So we need to be aiming for this part of the neck, and it could be your leg, your arm, it could be their gi or whatever. So for a prime example, it's actually the mounted cross collar choke. It's not the collar that does the choking, it's your wrists again. So in theory, you could do a no-gi cross collar choke. So put your head here, please. Thank you. Move this way a bit. When I do a cross collar like this, so my hands here, I'm going for that as name tag. My wrist, I'm just going to try and put my wrist is going to end up here by the time I'm lying down. On this side, I'm not even going for his collar, it's just my wrist again is going to be sitting here. And I lean, and I get my choke. So in theory, I can do this exact same choke, no-gi. Just put my knuckles on the floor, and lean. And eventually, it'll bite into his carotid arteries. Obviously, again, I wouldn't use the no-gi version in sparring just because I've got no friction to actually grip it on the floor and they're going to be moving around. But it proves the theory, is that it's my wrist, it's not the collars that are doing it. So if you find that you've been messing up your choke zone when you're trying to pull the collar around, get a deeper grip, and that's why. You actually try and use this. Okay, you try and use the wrist into the neck. And that should help all your chokes from here on out. Again, try and do your chokes when you practice them with very, very little squeezing. If the accuracy is good, after 10 or 15 seconds, they will go, they will tap. It'll feel like a water balloon filling in their head. Otherwise, it's just pain. Would you agree? Exactly. So, thank you for that. That is episode 4 of our YouTube series. And any questions, please send them through. Thank you. Boop.